Uh, uh, shake, 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 shake. We get it from my mama. Shake, shake. We get it from my mama.
How do y'all feel?
I told you, I feel hyped. Like, I'm really about to be a part of the movement. I don't know, it's just like you tap in once you know you're about to actually go be in the mix of everything.
Definitely a lot of anticipation on it. I've always wanted to be in stuff like this, so it's cool.
I love it coming from the young generation. Okay, all right. Bianca, you know?
I mean, but is it more like, is it adrenaline as a good cause, meaning? Or like wanting to be a part of, for something like this is meaning?
I feel like it's something,
because you feel it?
Does it mean something, or are we like following? Like, that
right.
Kind of yeah, for me, I feel like it means something because you actually want to do something you've been seeing for years.
Put the noodle down, we're recording. Answer. We need your opinion.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way, and like I see so many just so much ignorance. Definitely kids that go to my school and stuff saying that they would only want to protest because of the looting and the rioting and stuff, but it's not about that. So
wow.
I'm definitely not going for that. Like, this is way more important than that.
I'm gonna do a quick check-in. We're just coming out, walking into the place, and it looks real. Police is everywhere, the helicopters.
That's for sure.
So I'll do a little recording. Okay, so right now we're off the University in Orange. We pretty much just kind of walked around, and everybody is working together, no matter what color. And we're on. Hey guys, it's Melanin Mommies again. We're here today to address the George Floyd protest that just happened. And I want to introduce you guys to a few people that we have on the channel today. So let's go on and introduce ourselves.
I'm Bianca. I'm Dallas.
I'm Jen Momoka.
And of course, Melanin Mommy. I just want to say that I'm everywhere right now. I was actually inspired by, I would say, Bianca yesterday for wanting to do the protest in Downtown Riverside, California. So I'm actually going to start with her feelings, see what made her want to do the protest, how she felt after the protest, during the protest, and let's see.
So what made me want to do the protest was, I mean, I've always been like this. Like, it's not hard to realize like how minorities get treated, how black people get treated, and this is like something important to me. Not only, you know, George Floyd's death, but other people, like other victims of police brutality and white supremacy and things like that. So this is just something that I wanted to partake in, because I was doing everything that I could at home. Like, I was signing petitions, I was posting stuff on my Instagram story, and I saw that, you know, the protest was pretty close by us, so I had told my mom, and yeah.
Where'd you find the petitions? On which website?
Twitter mainly. That's really the app that I've been staying on most, because that's where they have really all the information and all like the GoFundMes for the protesters, for victims and things like that. So that's where I've been, you know, finding all those things. And then so after the protest, I felt empowered. I felt empowered through the whole thing. What I did like about the protest too was the diversity of people there. Like, you know, it wasn't just black people. There was so many different type of people there, and that really showed like to how many people really want better for us as well.
Yeah, I thought that was refreshing too, just to see all different races out there supporting, and like I feel too, it's beyond George Floyd. That like again saying it like we said, that kind of was like the straw. but anybody that has been feeling, racism and marginalized and sexism, things like that, it's just been going on too long. It just goes over and beyond. So Dallas, how did you feel? This is another, these two, and I want to say these are two 14-year-olds, so we have a
15.
I'm sorry.
I just had a recent birthday.
Yes, recent birthday. Yes.
What day was the birthday?
May 17th. May 17th.
Yes, birthday, but a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old. So, a wide of different ages to of perspective. So,
but I love how they are 14 and 15 and are wanting to be like young activists and actually be out there helping, becoming more aware and see how to make change. So Dallas, is all you, boo.
Oh, well, I mean, going into it, when everything started happening, it was kind of hard for me to be, I don't want to say it, but like be proud of who I am and what I've been through because of the color of my skin. Like, I've seen how, every day, or I've noticed how every day we wake up, we became a target, and how white people, not just like people were just targeting us. And I've seen it everywhere. Like, you turn on the news, it's the first thing you see. You go on Instagram, it's the first thing you see. And I felt really belittled and very minimized. And, to help myself keep my sanity and my confidence, I relied on her. Do-rags off to you. I relied on her, and I expressed the way how I felt, and I realized that there's so much stuff that you can do besides protests that can help you, help them. So, like, I signed petitions, I donated to a lot of GoFundMes, I even read books, I educated myself about white supremacy and, even like LA riots and Tulsa riots and stuff like that. I just educated myself. I highlighted quotes, I posted them, I reshared stories. And then when the protest happened, during the protest, I just felt liberated. Like, I felt so touched, even just because I was just there and I seen the way how people can just come together and just fight for people's rights. Whether you were, black, white, didn't matter. There was people out there that were fighting for us. And I felt great. And I felt like my ancestors were there with us, like fighting with us, and God was with us. And even in the car on the way, I was nervous because I didn't want to get hurt, obviously, out of protest, but it was a risk I was willing to take because I'm willing to fight for what's mine, which was on my poster. And it was a good feeling. And then after, I felt like a whole new person. I understood how important it is to love you and the heritage that runs within you. And my relationship with God is different. My perception with the world is different. It's just, I don't look at the world and wake up and feel like everyone's going to be on my back, or like my back is against the wall because of something that I can't control. Like, no, people can actually, there's good people out here, you know what I mean? And it's just, it felt good to be out there, and it felt good to leave safe. Definitely. Definitely felt good to leave safe.
And that's what I wanted them to see too. Like, it may feel like it's us against the world, you know what I mean? But, it is some good people out there that doesn't look like us and still can support our cause. So, and I wanted us to go out and to actually see that, and to have our own perspective on what versus what we're seeing in the news, because it was very unified. People were out there getting hand sanitizer,
pretzels,
water, snacks, things like that. In the midst of still, we have to remember that this is COVID, but people still took that aside to say that this was a bigger issue. So I don't understand, like, the people that want to focus on the riots and the looting. You know right from wrong, But J Mocha, what was your experience?
So I went to two protests. So I went to one with them out here in Riverside, California, and then I went to one today in LA. So before we went, I remember explaining to my mom and everybody else, it's like, I kind of feel like hyped about the situation, not like it was a thing that I wanted to be just a part of because everybody else was doing it, but it was like, okay, we're actually going to be able to live what everybody else is feeling, like actually be able to feel what everybody else is feeling. So before you get there, you have that feeling, but once I got there, it's like, wow, like I'm really in this protest. I'm really feeling what everybody's just feeling. As soon as you start chanting, it's like we're really chanting for a whole movement right now.
Yeah.
Like, we're really trying to make these changes. So the Riverside one, it was cool. It was pretty chill. We got out of there in enough time before it went too crazy. But it was chill. Everybody was walking. We were marching. There was even a dude there with the drums. It was like, it was really cool that he was there with the drums. It was like a heartbeat of the whole crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really nice that he had the drums too. And then we left safe, like Dallas said.
Mm-hmm.
Now the one in LA, I was a little nervous about this because the way the news is portraying how these are going. Like it's a lot of looting, a lot of violence going on. When I got there, I'll say I felt the same way before when I went to the Riverside one, but when I got there, I was still a little nervous because you're seeing what is on the news. They show you what they want you to see. They don't give you the full spectrum. Like Bianca is saying, a lot of things are shown on Twitter that may be cut off on the news, that they don't want you to see the rest of the video or something like that. Yeah. So once I got there, I'm like, okay, it's cool. Like we're gonna test it out, see what's going on. And it was even a bunch of stuff coming out on Twitter then, like, oh, there's somebody just shot something. We were there, we didn't hear any gunshots. No gunshots, no loud sounds deterring anybody from the protest at all. So we're like, okay, we're gonna stay and like feel it out, see what's happening. So when we first got there, it was probably like just a small circle of a group of people. We got there, it was a small circle. Still kind of nervous because we're seeing stuff on Twitter. People are texting us and calling us like, be safe.
Police are out there.
Police are out, and the National Guard is out at this point. So when we start actually protesting and marching down through all the streets, the crowd got so huge, it covered a whole long street, like many blocks of crowds were out there. We were just walking and protesting. And I think the best thing I seen with it was how it was just a lot of diversity. People are saying, okay, move on, keep going. Like when the police would come up, because you know they all like to come up and stand their ground. So a lot of people are like, keep moving on, keep marching, and we kept chanting. At no point did it turn violent. So I say that about the news. I don't like how they're portraying it as it's something it's not. And I also say I don't like how people who want to speak on like the protesting and actually aren't doing something for it want to tell us how we should protest. Like you can't tell people they can't loot, especially a black person, because this is our whole movement. So I feel like you can't tell a black person how they should react or go about certain things. You can't say it may not be right, but that's how they want to show it. So you can't tell them how they choose to protest during this whole movement. So we went out there, it was pretty peaceful, nothing happened, it was just shouting, that was pretty much it. But other than that, we made it back safely too. But after those two protests, baby, tired. Protesting, woo!
Like activism is hard work. It's not for the weak. It's definitely.
And I truly agree with that. Going because you don't know what to expect. You don't know if the smallest thing could get the police to pop off, and you hear rubber bullets, and you hear this happening and that happening. Then I'm thinking about you guys, like, okay, say we have to run, and you guys are way somewhere else than us, and I get it, but even with me and you, what if one of us got hurt, stompede, fell, just anything can happen at any moment and turn into a whole unnecessary scene, even leaving. The only thing we seen where it was like a group of, I would say, mixed race people and then one white man, and they were kind of bantering back and forth or whatever. And they ran up on him and was considering jumping the man. But I could tell they resisted, thought about it, and said, you know what, if we do this, this is going to turn into something way bigger than what it really needs to be. So everybody calmed down, chilled out. But I am happy I did get the experience because, I mean, me and you, we did see what happened with the riots after Rodney King. And I never went out there during the protests, the looting, or anything. But we were young. We were probably in high school. So, of course, our parents weren't going to let us go do it. I don't even think my mom would have took me yesterday where we took our kids. My mother just would not have done that.
And you just won't understand how it feels unless you do it. Unless you actually go to a protest and you actually feel it, it's so hard to explain because you can literally feel everything that's happening during the protest.
Feel the energy, and feel what other people are feeling, and maybe some of the people that are focusing on the riots and the looting, that is something that comes with resistance and comes with protest and comes with change. But if you focus just on that, then If you wanted to destroy the message, that's exactly what it's going to do. But most of us are grown adults, and we know what's right and what is wrong. And of course, it doesn't even need to be mentioned that rioting and looting is not right. But we also have to look at the bigger picture here. Killing people is not right either, and that should be on the top of all of our list of things that you're outraged of. Target and even some of these small businesses should be down here at the bottom. But human lives and decency and respect and how you can live your life with your head up and not on your knees should be up here. And like I said, this is not in any way condoning any type of rioting and looting, but if you have a platform, like all of us really do with social media, don't use it on saying about the riots. I see a lot of people that want to post on the aftermath, but don't want to post
also
about
don't
what
get
really
it
happened.
misconstrued. It's not just black people who are rioting and looting. Let's get that very straight right now on this video. I just want to make a record of that. That's it.
Yes. And like I said, and still, no matter what rioting, looting that you see, most of us know that what has been going on in this country with minorities, it has been going on too long, and it's not right. It is not right. So you can't erase all of that and say, oh, but they're looting and they're rioting. Well, that's what we cannot do, and we cannot focus on that. Yeah, it's a few people that should not be doing that and is taking this as an opportunity to come up, whatever they're doing. But they are minute in this as to the lives and things like that, and to be able to live your life with dignity and respect. Just to be someone that is different, looks different, a person of color and things like that. The things that have been going on, it's just not right. It's just not right. And we want to focus on the few riots that have happened in between all of this. Like, this is why we're not understanding the message. And we're going to be right back here. But this is a different message because we have, like Jamiana said, we've been here since you said it, Rodney King. But it never spread past. It didn't go to other states. It didn't go to Berlin. It didn't go to London.
We did have social media first of all. That makes a big difference. To me, social media exposes everything and gives everybody a voice to work together as a whole universe.
That's what I mean by everybody having a platform at this point. And if you want to use your platform to talk about riots and the looting, I'm just not here for it. I'm just not. Because we need to be focusing on human lives and the way that people live their life. That's why we have so much depression, drug use, all kinds of things. People living, working hard and still living on their knees. And so certain things that they do to cope with that. Right, and while the few people still remain prosperous, it's not right. And people look at that, feel that. White people feel that. Asian people feel that. Anybody that's marginalized feels that.
So remember to vote. When it comes down to vote, including you looters, rioters, whatever, I want everybody out there voting. That's
We're
just
not
the
talking
bottom
about
line.
president voting, and that's where we go wrong too.
Because I need to learn more about my own.
I vote in every election, but you guys we have to. It starts in your town.
Yeah.
These police are staying there because of your DAs. Because of your prosecuting attorneys, things like that. That is why these are your people in your town allow the way that the police act. And I just feel like this has just been a whole combustion about what has been happening, even with COVID. I know that I've seen on social media to sit down and see how people have been done during COVID, all of the beating and stuff that the police have been doing, when half the people have lost their jobs. Why make that worse on people? And I didn't see that in white neighborhoods. I'm sorry, I didn't see that at Central Park when the white people felt like they wanted to exercise their right to go to the park, and I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that. But what I am knocking is that though it was policed in neighborhoods that people live in these buildings, high rise, they don't have a front yard, a backyard, so they come out on their stoop just to get fresh air, and they're policed and beaten. This is why this is going on. This is why. It's just a whole bunch of stuff, and it just blew up. That's just what it is. It has more to do with George Floyd. It's more to do with the police. It goes over and beyond that. And I hope that people would stop focusing on this looting and stuff. If you want that it destroys the message if you want it to. We are all sound mind and body to know what's right and what's wrong. Looting and rioting is wrong. But also having a whole generation, a whole community of people suffer and be second-class citizens for hundreds of years is not right either. It's just not.
And I would never be able to leave my knee on somebody's neck that long.
8 minutes.
I just would not be, I would not
too.
be able to treat anyone ever like that. Bianca, did you want to end with something?
Just about the whole looting and rioting, like it just irks me when people talk about that, because it's like, first, like what Javiana was saying, it was just like, how are you definitely, if you're not black, how are you going to tell somebody how to feel about something? If you're hurt by something, you're hurt. Like you have no right to tell somebody how they should feel about something. We're outraged. And it's just like, too, and even on Twitter, you mainly see white people starting the riots, and also cops that are planting things and breaking the windows and stuff like that to get people riled up. I just want to say that, like, if anybody does see this that's, that is white, please don't riot. Yeah, non-black. Yeah. Please don't start breaking windows, vandalizing, because at the end of the day, black people are going to take the fall for it. And that's what's irking me the most, that it's not mainly us, but we're going to be the ones that are going to be placed as the vigilantes, like that we're just crazy, and that we're the ones out here just being uncivilized.
Can I read a tweet that I posted? Okay, I didn't post it, but I reposted.
Okay.
And it has to do exactly what she said.
We're here for it.
And it says, white people protesting. Think of protesting alongside black people for Black Lives Matter as being a guest in their home. You follow their lead. Don't start breaking anything, and don't instigate violence, and use your privilege to help them keep safe.
I love that.
I reposted that, and I agree with it 100%.
And shouts out to Apple today. That's what we're listening to in the background, if you guys could hear it. I'm not sure.
Right. They did a blackout, and all the music that you can listen to is black music right now, so we want to shout that out. And we just hope that this is something for change. We don't want any of this stuff to go in vain, and like I said again, it is a lot of displaced anger out there. It is, but again, you can't tell people that have felt marginalized and second-class citizens forever how to display that anger. We do need to hone it in. We do, but a lot of us have just started to begin to know how to do and cope with things like that's up in here. We're all about the physical sickness, but we all have just started to cope with what goes on mentally.
Mental illness.
Yeah,
depression.
Right, depression and the things that it makes you do or don't do, So we have to, it's just so much deeper, and I hope everybody feels that, and that's kind of like what we wanted to do with this video, to give our own perspective. And this is not just from Twitter. This is not just from what we're seeing on Instagram. This is what we experienced. We were there, and I mean, got out in the COVID streets because y'all know I've been cautious. Yeah,
my husband told me today, I don't want to hear nothing else about COVID.
Right, but everybody still pretty much had masks. It wasn't like we were touching too much. Yes. So, and you did, and we didn't, and I can understand
no
the
social distancing.
Right, it wasn't social distancing, and I can understand how people could forget about that and throw that all out the window. People are dying from COVID, but people are dying from injustice too. They are, and they've been dying for a long time over injustice, a long time. And if we, like you said, if you just research some of the things that maybe even minorities have been through, and this is to my non-black people, you guys probably would be outraged too. And you probably, the rioting and the looting would seem like nothing.
Merchandise is replaceable, human lives are not.
Exactly. Javiana, you want to say anything for the end of the video before we tell everybody bye?
I will. Okay. I want to say one more thing, because this is when I talk about certain things like this to my friends, I always give them this advice, and this is to the black community in general. my advice to you guys, I know I'm only 15. Like, what kind of advice can you give? I'm
give
just
some.
saying. I'm just gonna give a little. I'm gonna just give a little.
That's why we got
Give your advice.
I'm gonna give a little 2 cents. I just want to say
And look
2
at them
things.
in the camera so they see you. Don't forget you.
2 things. 2 things I want to say is 1, stay aware, and 2, educate yourself. Like, if you're not able to go out there and protest and chant and yell, and you have to stay home due to sickness or because you don't have a car, whatever reason or whatever the case may be, it doesn't take a lot to educate yourselves, especially with all these resources that we have. I can say from my personal life story, whatever. Since this whole thing's been going down, I have been on Amazon buying books about Jim Crow, mass incarceration. There's a new book. I don't know who the author is, but one of my favorite books right now is called Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. Very, very good book. Reading a book about Tulsa riots, LA riots, just educating yourself, because racism is power, and to me, you can't fight power if you don't have knowledge. Right. Knowledge is very important, and that's why education, especially history, should be valued and respected, especially in the Black community, because you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, and you don't know how. If you guys would just pay attention, especially kids who look like us and like our age, if we would just put our phones down, we have a lot of issues in the Black community, but if we would do a lot of stuff and learn the fundamentals and connect, like she said, and read and write and culturally express ourselves, you would be shocked, almost shocked about how much stuff you just didn't know, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm just now learning about our past. And yes, I'm outraged, and yes, I'm mad and stuff like that. But I guess another piece of advice is don't look at the world so cruel, because we can always come together. I feel like, to me, I hope that it won't, but I feel like racism will always be here, because racism is not. You're not born with it, you're taught, and there's still a lot of ignorant people out there, but that doesn't mean that people aren't good, and that doesn't mean that it can't be a better place. So back to what I was saying, not to get off track, but for the Black community, please educate yourself. Please go buy books, please go start writing, whether that's rapping or using paint, just start culturally expressing yourself, start educating yourself.
And if you're angry, that's a good way to place that anger into art form and things like that, and expression. And I also challenge what she just said to white people too, or people or non-Black people. Look into these things that she said, the Tulsa riots, things like that. And I know a lot of white people watch X-Men, but do you know really what that was really based on Watchmen, what that was really behind. So I challenge non-Black people to educate themselves too. Get these books and read about these things. Educate yourself, and maybe you'll be a little bit more sensitive to what's going on right now.
Because they're not going to teach it to you in school.
No.
The only reason I can say I learned about some of this stuff is because I had a Black history teacher, and she was an AP teacher, so she was always on her stuff. She always told us, I want you guys to hold yourself to a certain standard. Always put aside, have these conversations about everything. She always go off from what the book said and say some stuff personally about how she feels. So that just kind of goes on to what Dallas said, just make sure you educate yourself, because the school system is not going to do it for you. And I'll say, don't be scared to protest. I feel like they kind of put that image out there with the news too, trying to make you scared, or bring the National Guard out. All they really do there is just stand there, make sure things don't get crazy.
And even in Riverside it was, but they weren't, they were
and it made me nervous seeing them out there.
It did. It made me nervous seeing them out there more really than the people out there. They were more menacing and threatening, but
it's like Bianca said, it's mostly the police.
Right, but they still didn't really,
they smiled at us and grinned. They took a knee in Riverside.
I think they gave one of them a hand bump today. They cool. They're chilling.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not all of them, but it only take one. Like white people would say in the rioters, that it's the same thing. It doesn't take 10,000 people to burn a building down. You know what I mean? It only takes one person. So if you can look at it as cops being one bad apple, you should be able to look at that too in the black community. Don't lump us all into one thing, or what you see on another 48 or something like that.
Or only what the media wants to portray.
We are way more than that. We really are. We really are. And if it's just sometimes our non-black friends would take the time to see that, I believe we could have some major change. I really do. But I'm really inspired by these three young black ladies right here.
Up and coming future.
Yes. I got one more thing too.
Okay.
I think an important thing too is like your parents, like the black culture is everything. It's music, dress. So it's just like how people are posting that. If you love our culture, why can't you love us? If you doing what we do in our culture, show us love. Post what we doing. Like put it out there.
Right.
So
because our culture is shared with everybody.
And even the struggle. You got to share in the struggle. At least be sympathetic and empathetic to that struggle. Like I said, we even like with the immigrant situation, I have compassion with that. Don't feel like anybody should have been separated from their kids and things like that. There was protests about that. I'd have been right there protesting and cheering it on. I wouldn't have made that, even if there was riots behind it, I wouldn't have made that a focus, because I'm like, if you want to riot, put some kids in some cages, riot on. Riot on.
Because just as important as Dallas said is to read and educate yourself, you need to listen to the music. There's a lot of stories told in the music. Like my mom played a huge part in that. She put the black culture, movies, music.
When did we start seeing us even on television? You guys even take for granted how much you see us on TV.
And me and my mom have talked about this.
Me and you grew up, that was not a thing. No. You might see what?
A couple of maybe families.
And we're saying chocolate. Chocolate.
Especially now, even in this era, how I noticed they even make more dark-skinned women lead women. In my generation, that was not an option. That was not going to happen. So many things have changed. We've seen some change, but we still have a long ways to go. But we just wanted to use our platform to say how we felt, put some awareness out there of what's going on.
In a real perspective, we'll post some pictures, some videos, and things of our experiences from the protests and things like that. I got melanin. Oh, yeah. I got melanin.
Bye.
We got melanin. Melanin.
I'm going to keep waiting.